porque Bolivia es un país que late y enfrenta los desafíos y cambios del mercado con resiliencia para seguir compartiendo su energía. Bolivia desafíos y cambios del mercado con resiliencia para seguir compartiendo su energía. Bolivia trabaja en coordinación con el Foro de Países Exportadores de Gas, compartiendo conocimiento y experiencias para producir energía sustentable. Energía que cuida nuestro planeta y el bienestar de nuestra gente. Energía que proyecta el futuro de nuestro país y de una región completa. Energía pura. Bolivia, corazón energético de un continente. En el corazón de Sudamérica, late un país mágico, impulsado por la energía y pujanza de su gente. Un país de culturas ancestrales y ecosistemas ricos y diversos. Un país que ha forjado su destino y transformado su lucha en un círculo virtuoso que inicia y termina en el pueblo boliviano. La nacionalización de los hidrocarburos en 2006 crea un modelo.
And announce the start of our ministerial session, if the quorum exists. Mr. Mreni, the floor is yours.
Excellencies, Ministers, Excellency Secretary General, distinguished Executive Board members, and representatives from the member countries and observers. Dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is 8 a.m. La Paz time, 16 November 2021, and we open the 23rd GECF ministerial meeting hosted by the plurinational state of Bolivia. Present with us are the GECF member countries, namely Algeria, Bolivia, Equatorial Guinea, Egypt, Iran, Libya, Nigeria, Qatar, Russia, Trinidad and Tobago, and Venezuela, as well as GECF observers, including Azerbaijan, Iraq, Malaysia, Norway, and United Arab Emirates. With much respect to all the participants of the meeting, I would like to kindly advise that in line with the protocol of the meeting, only the audio and camera of the heads of delegation could remain open during the meeting. And for the other esteemed participants, I kindly request them to keep their mics and cameras closed, except when they are requested to present. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, since we have the quorum for the 23rd ministerial meeting, it is my honor to invite His Excellency Franklin Molina Ortiz, the Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energies of the plurinational state of Bolivia and the President of the ministerial meeting, to start the 23rd GECF ministerial meeting. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Jury Centurion, and Ministers of Members and Observer Countries of GECF, official delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good afternoon. On behalf of the Ministry of Hydrocarbons and Energy of the plurinational state of Bolivia and the Bolivian government, I am pleased to welcome you to 23rd Ministerial Meeting of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum. We will Right, haven't will comment you all in person here in Bolivia, but unfortunately, the COVID pandemic is still causing travel restrictions throughout many regions. Of the world, and we must meet once again by video conference. It is an honor and great pleasure for us at the host country of the important event to the GCF and nations collectivity of the world's leading gas producer, which contributes and the development and will be of the world with the export of gas. We hope that this meeting will allow us to exchange views and ideas about the policies and actions that contribute to the development of the states towards their natural resources, particularly natural gas. We also hope that this meeting will give us more important input on gas market behaviors and mid and long-term price that help the decision making and energy policy development of the GCS member country. We have closely followed the behavior of the gas market and the economic effects we have, which is the negative impact we are still experiencing related to COVID. However, we have seen positive reports regarding management of the global pandemic, providing sufficient access to vaccines throughout the world and thus increasing the number of vaccinated people, which gives of the we will soon return to normality. In this meeting, we would like to share our vision for the gas industry's development and will as the increasingly crucial role of the GCF as a platform for dialogue between producer and consumer of gas and other stakeholders of the global energy system. Furthermore, the international energy crisis reflected being the crisis in gas natural oil price, especially in European countries and China, and recent weeks has led to an increasing in the price of the other commodities. This all allowed temporary relief for oil and gas producing countries, which in 2020 suffered great losses due to low price. In Bolivia, we have established energy sovereignty and governance of natural resources with the nationals of hydrocarbons, thus establish a new present and the future for all Bolivians. The good results of the economics, social, community, and the productive model of our government have allowed the redistribution of wealth through social policies aimed of the most disadvantaged sector. After having experienced the COP in the last years and recovering democracy in 2020, With our president, Luis Arce Catagora, we began to reactivate the hydrocarbon sector and the gas industry. Starting the plants shut down during to de facto government in the increase oil exporters. Bolivia has become the energy center of the region due to its strategic geographical location, its economic growth, and its natural resource wealth. We are a country that has a people network transportation system supplying gas to Argentina and Brazil. In addition, we have potential gas reserves to the address and effective energy transition. Once again, I welcome you and the official inaugurate the GECF ministerial meeting. May our session today be highly productive and decisive. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Secretary General. I would like to invite His Excellency Secretary General to have the floor.
Your Excellency, President of the Ministerial Meeting, esteemed Excellencies, distinguished member countries, observer members, representatives, it's my great honor to welcome you to the 23rd GECF Ministerial Gathering. Here I would like to appreciate the able and wise leadership of His Excellency Minister Franklin Molina Ortiz and the great efforts of the organizing team of Bolivia, the forum's long-standing pillar and founding member country. I would like to extend a warm welcome to the newly appointed GECF member countries' ministers who have taken the charge since the 22nd ministerial meeting, namely His Excellency Mohamed Arkab, the Minister of Energy and Mines of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, His Excellency Javad Ouji, the Minister of Petroleum of the Islamic Republic of Iran, His Excellency Mohamed Aoun, the Minister of Oil and Gas of the State of Libya, and His Excellency Honorable Stuart Young, the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Our sincere appreciation goes out to the very positive contribution and the rich legacy of the ministers who have begun new endeavors, namely His Excellency Abdelmajid Attar of Algeria, His Excellency Bijan Namdar Zanganeh of Iran. And our heartfelt condolences on the sad demise of Honorable Franklin Khan, former Energy Minister of Trinidad and Tobago from 2016 until his passing away, and His Excellency Sergei Shmatko, former Energy Minister of the Russian Federation from 2008 to 2012, who contributed a lot in the establishment and development of our forum. The current fragile situation on the market obviously challenges the universal energy security and necessitates the need to assess the causes of the energy crunch, its potential implications, as well as outlook for future development of energy markets. Distinguished participants, at COP26 held in Glasgow last week, I delivered a GECF statement preliminarily endorsed by all member countries and urged the international community that the delicate balance between reducing emissions, energy affordability, and security requires comprehensive and sustainable policies, with all voices being heard and listened to. Focusing on only one of these over the others can lead to unintended consequences, market distortions, heightened volatility, and energy shortfalls. We do believe that natural gas was, is, and will remain the most realistic option to attain the energy transition, spur economic growth, and social progress. There's a reason why gas is poised to become the leading source of fuel in the global primary energy mix from 23% today to 27% by 2050. For another year in a row, the Secretariat contributed meaningfully to the fulfillment of the ministerial resolutions, 5-year working plan, and respective 2020-2021 work programs, with a special focus on providing efficient support to the member countries, keeping the dynamics at the pre-COVID-19 level, maintaining the ultimate quality of forum's output aimed at advocating natural gas as an enabler for reducing emissions quickly, cost-effectively, and steadfastly, and its prominent role in sustainable energy mix. It also reveals that the accuracy and precision of energy forecasting and modeling has gained an increased importance. As a result of these tangible efforts, notable progress has been registered in all the above-mentioned directions. I am proud to attest that today our forum is stronger as it has never been before. It's in our hope and aspiration to find strengths in staying together, closer than before. This inspires us to continue working diligently and pushing forward activities to satisfy the interests and requirements of esteemed members to ensure that the forum serves its purpose in the most accomplished manner. Together, we can overcome the veritable challenges in front of us and navigate our community into a positive period of growth and success. I wish you all a successful round of deliberations and fruitful outcomes. Thank you ever so much for your kind attention.
Excellencies, the floor is open for introductory remarks by His Excellency Ministers.
Iran would like to take the floor.
I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Oji to take the floor.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, His Excellency Franklin Molina Ortiz, esteemed President of the 23rd Ministerial Meeting of the GECF and Bolivian Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energy, His Excellency Yuri Centurin, esteemed Secretary General of the GECF, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for me to participate in the 23rd Ministerial Meeting of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, GECF, as the Minister of the Petroleum of the Islamic Republic of Iran for the first time. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our friend Bolivia for the successful holding of this meeting. I hope this ministerial meeting could take another step towards materialization of the goals of the forum via adopting effective and strategic decisions. In the past 2 years, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the global economy and consequently the gas market have suffered significant damage, the effects of which will cause fundamental changes and transformations in the world's energy production and consumption paradigms, even in the medium term. However, I would like to point out that natural gas, compared with other energy carriers, has been more stable and resistant to the impact of COVID-19 crisis, despite Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, natural gas plays an important and key role in moving toward a low-carbon sustainable energy system in the transition period, and due to its environmental and economic advantage, Even with the growth of renewables, it could be part of the global green energy strategy to counter the impacts of climate change to promote sustainable energy supply. The low pollution level of natural gas has made it the cleanest fossil fuel that can meet the needs of the 21st century by replacing it with more polluting fuels such as coal, and unlike renewable energies, it has various advantages. Natural gas abundant resources in the Islamic Republic of Iran, as well as other parts of the world, makes this clean and affordable energy accessible to everyone so that they could achieve the 7th SDG approved by the UN. Due to the lower carbon content of natural gas compared with other fossil fuels, while paving the ground for developing countries to move toward net zero emissions and sustainable development, natural gas through technology transfer would help exporting countries to mitigate carbon emissions and export low carbon fuel. Technology transfer is a 50-year promise, which faces numerous hardships, and developing countries, especially gas exporting countries, are in need of such technologies. Emergence of new policies in order to zero carbon emission has necessitated reducing carbon volume produced in the natural gas production process. And in the long term, the possibility of using new technologies such as CCUS or blue hydrogen or methane leakage should be taken into account by developed countries. Otherwise, the attractive speeches of the leaders participating in COP26 in support of the Paris Agreement and the fight against climate change will be merely considered as speeches. Natural gas security of demand is among important parameters ensuring adequate investment and enhancement of natural gas production capacity in the long term. In this regard, constructive dialogue as well as cooperation with all the concerned parties, including producers and consumers, could guarantee natural gas security in supply and demand sides, which would be in favor of the two concerned parties. Understanding the issue by producers and consumers is pretty essential for strengthening sustainable conditions of energy supply and demand. Hence, I believe promoting cooperation among GECF member countries in various fields, technology, development, and gas market stability is pretty essential for more than ever. Dear colleagues, natural gas and LNG price unprecedented, significant, and abrupt hike in Europe, Asia, and America indicates developed countries' vulnerability vis-a-vis unforeseen volatility and energy development. These developments indicate the necessity of further promotion of the level of cooperation and also depoliticizing energy production process in the world. We believe that the stability of and sustainability of energy security in the world requires adopting depoliticized approaches. Imposition of unilateral sanctions by the US and the Islamic Republic of Iran will damage global law and multilateralism and while targeting livelihood of people. And it's in contradiction with principles and regulations of international law. This approach cannot ensure peace and international security and would not contribute to effectively deal with issues such as climate change, investment, technology transfer, and energy field, particularly natural gas. Excellencies, I am confident you all agree with me that achieving the elevated goals behind establishment of GECF requires further cooperation and coordination among the members. Holding one of the largest natural gas reservoirs and one of the world's largest distribution networks of natural gas, the Islamic Republic of Iran expresses its readiness to pioneer cooperation in all the relevant fields. The Islamic Republic of Iran warmly welcomes any collective or bilateral cooperation with gas-producing countries. As Minister of Petroleum of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I would make efforts to secure gas exporting countries' interests and to support natural gas market stability. I am confident that promoting the level of cooperation and collaboration among the GECF member countries would enable us to cope with climate change challenges and bring about a brilliant future for the GECF member countries. As in the past, the administration of His Excellency Dr. Raisi, the esteemed President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, will keep interacting constructively with the forum and will effectively support its objectives in line with securing the member countries' collective interests. I would like to conclude by expressing my sincere appreciation to the esteemed Secretary General and the GECF Secretary of the Staff for their round-the-clock efforts. And once again, I would like to express my Minister of Hydrocarbons of Bolivia. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Your Excellency, for your valuable and encouraging statement. Dear Excellencies, on behalf of the President of the Ministerial Meeting, I am invited to assist him in the conduction of today's gathering. I see on the screen that a few colleagues requested for the floor. I invite the Honorable Minister of Energies from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, His Excellency Stuart Young, to take the floor, and I invite Mr. Shahbazov, Minister of Energy from Azerbaijan, to be prepared. After Azerbaijan, Malaysia, and then Algeria. Mr. Stuart Young, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, Franklin Ortez, President of the Ministerial Meeting. Your Excellencies, other heads of delegations. Your Excellency, Dr. Yuri Centurion, Secretary General of the GECF. I bring warm greetings on behalf of the government and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This is my first GECF ministerial meeting, and I look forward to today's very important and timely deliberations. I thank Bolivia for its leadership in arranging this timely ministerial meeting. I also thank Secretary General, His Excellency Yuri Centurion, for his leadership of the GECF during these difficult times associated globally with the COVID-19 pandemic. The last 2 years have been difficult in the global economy. The advent of the COVID-19 pandemic resulted in resources being rightfully directed to health concerns, but at the expense of economic activity. Global GDP has been severely impacted. There was a fall off in demand for energy, and prices of oil and gas fell to record lows. It was a difficult period, Your Excellencies. However, the responsiveness of the health professionals globally through the development of vaccines have helped countries and economies return to a semblance of normalcy. The crisis has forced the world to modify the ways we communicate and transact business. In doing so, we have devised methods to be efficient and cost-effective. Global pandemic on the vaccine front showed us once again the different types of discrimination that take place internationally and globally. And it is up to us at this meeting in the energy sector to take some very serious decisions going forward. Trinidad and Tobago, as is the case for most countries worldwide, has been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, due to the sterling work of our health professionals, we have been able to mitigate the effects of the pandemic. While there was no major disruption of our energy sector operations, the pandemic resulted in the delay of implementation of new projects. However, we are steadily getting back on track with the collaboration of our energy stakeholders. As we seek to optimize the monetization of our hydrocarbon resources, we are aware of the need to transition to a low-carbon economy. In this regard, we are aligned with the policies of our energy stakeholders who regard the employment of natural gas as a cleaner burning fuel for limiting of carbon dioxide in meeting the global primary energy demand. Natural gas is versatile, and its usage, whether in the generation of power, as fuel, or as feedstock. It will continue to play an important role in the energy transition and in the economy of Trinidad and Tobago for the foreseeable future, as I'm sure it will for all of member countries. Trinidad and Tobago will engage in decarbonization efforts, which are centered on adaptation and mitigation strategies intended to reduce the country's CO2 by 103 million tons by 2030. These include our first major renewable projects based on solar energy, carbon capture and sequestration, development of a hydrogen policy. COP26 has recently concluded. Trinidad and Tobago renewed its commitment to meeting its nationally determined contribution. In achieving the objective, the support of the GECF through instruments such as its Environmental Knowledge and Solutions Framework and Gas Research Institute will be essential. We also intend to leverage on the experience of member countries who have already taken major steps in this direction and are well advanced in their implementation. Colleagues, the truth is today is a critical time in our decision making with respect to gas. A void has been left respectfully, and many voices are screaming at the reduction of hydrocarbons. It is my call to you today, as we must join together to have our voices heard now globally, for us to step into the void and to tell the world that gas is here to stay. Gas is the cleanest of the hydrocarbons, and it is up to us to have our voices heard and not be snuffed out by those who hold no responsibility and scream at the reduction of hydrocarbons. We all recognize and accept that global climate change is an important facet and a problem that we're facing, but we must not let gas, natural gas, and its byproducts be caught up in the negative conversations, colleagues. Today, I hope that we will be able to have some conversation and take important decisions, because we must lead the global conversation with respect to the benefits of gas and the long-term, the longevity of gas, and it will be here to stay as the globe's energy needs expand and increase. Colleagues, it is up to us as the leaders in the GECF to take this narrative and conversation at the forefront. And that is my message to you today. I thank you for the opportunity to say these few words. I look forward to participation. I thank you for the kind words upon the passing of my former colleague, Minister Khan. He spoke fondly of all of you, and in particular, the Secretary General. I thank Bolivia and the GECF for organizing this very timely meeting. I look forward to participation, and I conclude by once again reiterating it is important for us to carry the conversation of the need, the necessity, the value of gas going forward. Thank you, Your Excellencies, for your attention.
Your Excellency, Minister, thank you so much for your valuable statement. Dear colleagues, I would like you to accept my apologies. I announced our colleagues for taking the floor, but in compliance with the statute of GECF and installed practices used in our organization, the first, our ministers, heads of delegations from member countries are given the floor, and next, heads of delegations from observers. My apologies in front of our colleagues from observer members. I'm awfully sorry for that. So there are a few ministers, heads of delegations from member countries requested the floor. And I would like to invite His Excellency Minister Mohamed Arkab, Minister of Energy and Mines from Algeria, to take the floor. And then I would like to be prepared His Excellency Minister of State for Energy Affairs from Qatar, His Excellency Saad Rida Al-Kaabi. Your Excellency Mohamed Arkab, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Excellence, Franklin Molina Ortiz, président de la réunion ministérielle, Excellence, chef délégation, Monsieur le secrétaire général du Forum des pays exportateurs du gaz, chers invités et délégués, mesdames et messieurs.
Excellency Franklin Molina Ortiz, President of the Ministerial Meeting, Excellencies, Heads of Delegation, Excellency Secretary General of the Gas Exporting Countries Forum, dear guests and delegates, ladies and gentlemen.
Tout d'abord, je voudrais adresser mes chaleureuses salutations à l'État plurinational de Bolivie qui accueille notre réunion ministérielle et féliciter son Excellence Molina Ortiz pour l'organisation réussie et exprimer mes meilleurs vœux de santé, de sécurité à vous tous.
First of all, I would like to extend my warmest greetings to the plurinational state of Bolivia to hosting our ministerial meeting and congratulate His Excellency Molina Ortiz for the successful organization and to express my best wishes of health and safety to all of you.
Je n'ai que quelques messages à vous transmettre aujourd'hui, alors que les marchés du gaz naturel connaissent une crise post-Covid avec des prix exceptionnellement élevés.
I have only a few messages to convey to you today as natural gas markets are witnessing a post-COVID crisis with exceptionally high prices.
Cela montre que, premièrement, la crise actuelle a démontré que le gaz est la pierre angulaire des systèmes énergétiques mondiaux et qu'il a un rôle essentiel à jouer.
This shows that first, the current crisis has demonstrated that natural gas is at the cornerstone of world energy systems and has a critical role to play.
Deuxièmement, les contrats à long terme sont bénéfiques tant pour les consommateurs que pour les producteurs et pour la stabilité des marchés.
Two, long-term contracts are beneficial to both consumers and producers and to the stability of the markets.
Troisièmement, le manque d'investissement dans cette énergie essentielle constitue une menace immédiate pour la stabilité du marché et le bien-être socio-économique.
Three, lack of investment in this critical energy is an immediate threat to market stability and socio-economic well-being.
Quatrièmement, les politiques énergétiques doivent reconnaître le gaz comme un facteur positif de la transition énergétique.
And four, energy policies need to recognize gas as a positive enabler for the energy transition.
Les quelques années à venir seront déterminantes pour le rôle que jouera le gaz à moyen et long terme, ce qui exige notre engagement et notre détermination pour le dialogue avec les décideurs, les consommateurs et les producteurs.
The few years ahead are going to be critical for the medium to long-term role gas will play, and this calls on our commitment and determination for the dialogue with policymakers, consumers, and producers.
Pour améliorer encore l'empreinte environnementale du gaz naturel par la coopération dans le cadre d'actions et d'initiatives communes et pour la recherche et l'innovation afin de trouver des solutions pour faire du gaz naturel la source d'énergie qui répond aux objectifs climatiques et aux besoins énergétiques de la planète.
For further enhancing natural gas environmental footprint through cooperation in common actions and initiatives, and for research and innovation to provide solutions and making natural gas the energy source that meets world's climate goals and energy needs.
Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, je souhaite à tous une réunion réussie et je vous remercie de votre attention.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of us a successful meeting and thank you for your attention.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for your encouraging statement. I invite His Excellency Sachir Al-Kaabi, the State Minister for Energy Affairs and CEO of Qatar Energy, to take the floor for your statement. Your Excellency, the floor is yours, and I invite to be prepared His Excellency Shulginov, Minister of Energy of Russian Federation.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, gentlemen. First, I'd like to thank the President of the Ministerial Meeting for hosting this meeting, the President from Bolivia, and I'd like to thank also Dr. Yuri Centurion for organizing this meeting and assisting in that. And I think since Dr. Yuri, this will be the last meeting probably for him as the Secretary General, as the agenda item is coming next or soon to elect the next Secretary General. I just want to take a minute to really thank Dr. Centurion for his excellent efforts over this duration of 4 years. He's done a magnificent job. I think he's elevated the GECF in the international arena with joining many hands with many organizations, and I think putting us on the map in a stronger way. As he would tell you, we have a long way to go, but I think he has put us on the right path, and I really wanted to just sincerely appreciate his effort and leading the team in the GCF for what has happened so far. So sincerely appreciate it, and I think it's due for us to thank him and wish him all the best for the next. I may not get an opportunity to say it again, so I wanted to say it now. A pleasure to see a lot of my colleagues that we know each other very well. And I'd like to welcome also the newcomers that have just been appointed as new ministers. I wish them all the success. I'm sure they will have an excellent addition to this forum. I did not have a prepared really paper or speech for this, but all of you that have spoke before me, and I think there is going to be more discussions later today about this subject, where we're seeing where is gas in the overall oil and gas business around the world. And we all, I think, agree, and I think we're preaching to the preacher, so to speak, when we speak about gas, because we're all convinced gas is part of the solution. And I think everybody around the world sees gas as a part of the solution. Even the greenest of the green see it as part of the transition, at least for another 2 to 3 decades. I think that the issue is we're not getting our message out clearly and in a strong way that is apparent to people, and where we have our what we know clearly out there, where they are, I think, overdoing us as far as publicity, as far as how they're putting it in the media, and so on. And I think our colleagues from Russia have prepared a statement that I read, and I think there are a lot of discussions about different editing or versions of that, which we can agree on. But I think the principle of what our colleagues from Russia have put in this statement, I think, is something that we should support. We should have a statement that supports gas. And in addition to that, I would just give as a friendly, I would advise that maybe we can have a discussion where we need to all have a statement exactly the same. We all agree on that statement and disseminate that within our own governments, for our government officials when they go and talk to other officials from other governments and institutions and UN and so on. So we'd have that statement spoken out by our foreign minister of Russia or Qatar or Iran or whoever it is, to actually start promoting that on the political arena, because a lot of the politicians talk about environmental challenges and they talk about net zero. And when you talk to them about what does net zero entail and what does it mean and what's the plan, they look the other way. So it's a beautiful statement to tell the press and to get votes or to look good as a politician, to say I'm going to achieve net zero by this date or that date. And the majority will tell you it is our aspiration to reach that by improving technology in the future. So it's fine to say that we can actually aspire to reach net zero. But we shouldn't say we will reach if we don't have a credible plan to do that. So my suggestion, really, I'm sure most of you probably are doing that, but I think we should do it more and more assertively and stronger, in putting a very clear statement for all our politicians, whether it's Minister of Water Resources or Minister of Foreign Affairs or Minister of whatever it is, that they have to say the same statements when they meet their counterparts. Because every I think, politician speaking to another politician counts and has a voice. And I think we need to get our message. Our message is very clear. Gas, we believe in transition. Definitely renewables are coming stronger and we need to invest in renewables. We all care about the environment for our kids and our grandchildren, but gas is definitely the cleanest fossil fuel and you absolutely need it due to the intermittency of the other resources that we're talking about in renewable wind or solar and so on. This is just my pitch really for us to have a discussion on at some point, and maybe to something that we can put a unified statement that we all agree on to give our politicians to help them in these arguments when they have discussions with other where they may not be as knowledgeable about the energy sector or the business and these arguments as we would be. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, thanks a lot for your statement, as well as I am deeply touched by your commendable words as regards to me and my humble contribution into the activities of GECF. Thanks a lot for your guiding statement as regards to the statement suggested for discussion among ministers. I would like to invite His Excellency Minister Shulginov, Minister of Energy of Russian Federation, to take the floor, and I invite to be prepared our colleague, His Excellency Minister of Energy from Nigeria. Next, Mr. Shulginov, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Excellency Minister, Secretary General, and Ministers. Welcome to the 23rd Ministerial Meeting of the GECF. The continuation of our multilateral engagement is of particular importance today. The world economy, as well as the stability of sustainability of the energy market, is experiencing a strong but uneven recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. A combination of natural and economic factors coupled with mistakes in energy policies has led to a substantial increase in the price of natural gas and electricity. The reasons for this critical situation in Asia and in Europe are intermittent renewable power generation, the trend toward replacing coal and nuclear generation capacities, underutilization of underground gas storages, and underestimation of the stabilizing role of long-term contracts for natural gas supplies. I would like to emphasize that high prices are also disadvantageous for producers because they undermine both demand and confidence in gas as an accessible and relatively inexpensive source of energy. We're convinced that approaches to changing the world energy structure must be balanced and weighted. Climate issues should not overshadow the goal of universal access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy sources. Natural gas can play a key role in achieving SDG 7. As was stated with regard to the climate agenda in Glasgow, we need to reduce ineffective subsidies in fossil fuels, but we also see major opportunities for natural gas because it's one of the most environmentally friendly sources of energy, and still a fossil fuel, which is a transitional type of fuel to achieve climate goals. And we consider it important, as Qatari minister just said, to adopt the statement of the 23rd Ministerial Meeting that was supported by a majority in that version, and that reflects a well-balanced approach to the pressing issues of global energy environmental agenda. I also welcome observer countries that share our approaches, and I would ask the Bolivian chair of GECF to elaborate the statement so it can be adopted in the end of our meeting. We need to discuss the reasons for instability in gas markets and its impact on gas markets that stemmed from various restrictions. We consider access to gas is a key prerequisite for energy security and also for energy transition. Russia will continue to supply gas to global markets, including LNG supplies, and improve necessary infrastructure. We also will continue to contribute to the gas industry to fully meet the demands of our consumers. We are for strengthening GECF that brings together leading global gas producers to improve its performance and also to improve its international standing. And here are several areas we can improve our activities. Firstly, the organization must develop solutions that will increase its influence and status in terms of sustainable, effective, and reliable function of the gas market. It is necessary to launch a substantive, detailed dialogue between producers and consumers of energy resources, free of politicization and foul play. Secondly, it is necessary to continue and improve analytical efforts. There are excellent prerequisites for this, including the potential of the Gas Research Institute. Thirdly, the forum should become more involved in environmental issues, and their organization should help to better understand the role of gas in achieving climate goals and warn against ill-considered, inadequate decisions, including those related to cutting investments in the gas sector. Fourthly, it is necessary to increase the role of GECF in achieving SDG 7 and develop cooperation with the widest possible range of countries, also with the goal of expanding the membership of the organization. The GECF should become a center of attraction for the states of all continents that implement programs to increase the role of gas in the energy mix. And finally, the fifth point, we need to strengthen ties with businesses, expert community, and pay greater attention to personal training, capacity building, and the dissemination of best practices to stimulate the development of gas industry and advanced technologies. I propose to intensify our collective efforts to prepare a solid package of proposals for the 6th Gas Summit in Qatar in February of 2022. In conclusion, I would like to thank you, the Bolivian Chairman and General Secretary, Mr. Centurion, and all the ministers of member countries and observer countries for their fruitful work and paying special attention to the gas industry. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for the substantial and granulated statement, Your Excellency. I am pleased to invite for making a statement His Excellency Dimitris Silva, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources from Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I invite to be prepared His Excellency Osama Mubarak, Deputy Minister and Head of the Delegation from Egypt. Your Excellency Dimitris Silva, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, President of the 23rd Ministerial Meeting of the GECF, Excellency Franklin Molisa Ortiz, the Honorable Ministers, GECF member countries, GECF Secretary General, Dr. Centurion, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. 2021 witnessed several unusual important events that impact our day-to-day activities, the gas industry and the energy sector in general. These include resurgence of COVID-19 cases and new variants of the virus, fluctuation of the weather, exceptionally high gas prices, LNG prices, and the Conference of Parties, COP26, where many countries recognize natural gas as the fuel for socio-economic development, given its credentials, such as abundant, flexible, cleanest fossil fuel, versatile, among others. The growing quest for energy transition presents us with the opportunity to promote a new energy order to be fueled by clean and low carbon energy fuels, such as natural gas. But for the transition to be effective, One, it needs to be timely, and the new energy system to provide solutions to global energy-related challenges, as well as create value for businesses and society. In this regard, adequate investments and technology will be critical to provide the necessary infrastructure to exploit the natural gas resources and deploy innovative carbon reduction technologies and mechanisms such as carbon capture and storage towards achieving a realistic greenhouse gas emissions reduction target. Equally important is the need to build the capacity of the next generation of energy leaders who will continue to drive the industry. With natural gas projected to be the leading fossil fuel in the energy transition, the GECF is well positioned to provide stewardship in promoting natural gas as a sustainable fuel for an effective energy transition, as well as a source of increased revenue flow and energy security for its member countries. We therefore need to continue to assess the gas and energy market dynamics, both in the short, medium, and long-term horizon, with the aim of seizing the opportunities thereof and collectively address the challenges. Nigeria, as a gas province with some oil in it, is committed to sustainable growth of natural gas exploitation and utilization, domestically and export via LNG and pipeline to sub-regional African countries. Through the leadership of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigeria is embarking on some initiatives and policies to enhance the performance of the oil and gas sector amid energy transition and climate change challenges. These include, among others, the National Gas Expansion Program that provides framework and policy support to deepen gas supply and gas utilization, including such emerging niche sector as gas in transportation, auto gas, and the declaration of 2021 to 2030 as the decades of gas towards a gas-powered economy that will not only lower Nigeria's emissions, but reduce import bills. The recent signing of the PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act, by Mr. President is a testimony of Nigeria's commitment to drive more value from natural gas by providing the required governance, regulatory and fiscal framework to support the growth of the industry. Excellencies, the pivotal role of collaboration cannot be overemphasized. Therefore, we need to work together. Policymakers, investors, the energy industry decision makers, technology developers, etc., towards making modern energy sources available and affordable to all. In concluding, I would like to thank the President of the 23rd Ministerial Meeting of the GECF, Excellency Ortiz, Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energies of the plurinational state of Bolivia, for his excellent leadership during his tenure. Equally, I would like to thank the GECF Secretary General, His Excellency Dr. Centurion, for providing an effective stewardship of the GECF Secretariat activities. I look forward to a successful 23rd Ministerial meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you ever so much, Your Excellency, for the statement, valuable statement. I am pleased to invite Mr. Osama Mubarak, Undersecretary for Technical Office of the Ministry of Energy of Egypt, the head of delegation of Egypt, to take the floor. And I invite Mr. Leonardo Graterol, Vice Minister of Gas from Venezuela, to be prepared. Your Excellency, Osama Mubarak, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. It is really a pleasure to be amongst Your Excellencies, representing His Excellency Minister Tariq Al-Mullah, the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources of Egypt, and I would like to convey to Your Excellencies his greetings and appreciation. And I would like also to highlight that Egypt is looking forward to the presidency of the ministerial meeting for the year 2022 and hosting the 24th ministerial meeting next year in Egypt, especially in these difficult times coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic with its all implications on the economy and also the drastic implications of the energy transition that is sweeping the world and getting some few countries taking anti-positions against natural gas. And in this regard, and as Egypt will be hosting the COP27, I think maybe we can develop along the few coming months, not just strong statements to be presented as GECF and also positioning of the gas industry in COP27, but maybe also we can develop some joint initiatives along the coming few months from the member countries and also collectively as the GECF that can be launched or presented to the COP27 next year in Egypt. Again, thank you, Your Excellencies. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your essential statement. I'm pleased to invite Mr. Leonardo Graterol, Vice Minister responsible for gas at the Ministry of Energy of Venezuela, the head of Venezuelan delegation, to take the floor. And I invite after that our esteemed observer members, representatives, to be prepared. Mr. Shahbazov, Minister of Energy of Azerbaijan. Your Excellency Leonardo Graterol, the floor is yours. Venezuela.
Good morning. First of all, on behalf of our Minister Tarek El Aissami, he could not attend this meeting for personal reasons. So first of all, I would like to thank the Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energy of the plurinational state of Bolivia, Franklin Molina Ortiz, President and host of the 23rd ministerial meeting of the GECF, Mr. Yuri Santurin, Secretary General of the GECF. Thank you for your very important role in strengthening this organization. And of course, distinguished delegates and ministers, greetings from Venezuela. Nowadays, gas is very important because of its contribution to the energy matrix. It is extremely important in the energy transition. It is the main global challenge in face of global climate change. We are certain that natural gas ensures the transition, which is cleaner, and it is a guarantee for the development of our peoples in the medium and long term. The COVID-19 pandemic has provoked a decrease in the global consumption of about 2%. But the demand for 2022 is going to progressively recover. And we forecast that the demand could increase between 1.8 and 2.4%. Also driven by China and India. And also due to the need of an energy transition, which is cleaner and more sustainable. This represents at the same time a challenge for the use of natural gas, of the fuel of choice because of its abundance, affordability, and reliability. The prices of gas in 2021 strongly recovered with historical peaks. However, very high gas prices could compromise regular consumption, as we have seen before. The stability of the market and the acceleration of the trends of investors in the renewable energy sector increases the market in the European Union countries. The GECF is called upon being that multilateral platform capable of generating an effective interaction to maximize the income of the member countries by balancing and stabilizing the different regional markets and to create dialogue for a greater cooperation at an international level in the gas industry. It is necessary to maintain political will to make decisions that lead us to the best management of the gas market in order to achieve a fair value of this resource, to stabilize investments, and to improve the necessary technologies to strengthen the value chain of natural gas. We need to improve the existing technologies and those destined for capture and storage of carbon. In Venezuela, we have had to face unilateral coercive measures imposed by the United States on our main gas and oil industry. This has generated a decrease in the production, and it has affected the energy consumption of our people. On the other hand, Venezuela promotes complementarity in the different energy sources as a strategic factor to supply the energy demand and to strengthen the economic dynamic of the producing countries. We endorse the proposal for a greater interaction, dialogue, and cooperation among the members of this forum, third countries, and other organizations linked to the energy sector. Venezuela is certain that if we work and if we are committed with the members of the forum, we will overcome the great challenges of the gas market in the present. Finally, I would like to confirm our disposal, our willingness to strengthen this very important multilateral organization. Thank you very much for your attention.
Your Excellency, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the valuable and essential statement. I am pleased to invite His Excellency Parviz Shahbazov, Minister of Energy of Azerbaijan, to take the floor. And I am inviting His Excellency Sri Mustafa Mohammed from Malaysia to be prepared next. Your Excellency, Minister Shahbazov, the floor is yours.
Your Excellency Franklin Molina Oritz, President of the Ministerial Meeting, Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energy of the Plurinational State of Bolivia, Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellency Dr. Yuri Centurion, Secretary General. At the outset, allow me to greet you all and extend my appreciation to the Bolivian government for hosting the ministerial meeting and for the invitation to this significant event in the face of global calls regarding the future of traditional energy, which has become even more relevant due to the current energy crisis. I would also like to thank the Secretary General and the staff of the Secretariat for the fruitful activities towards our common goals. In recent years, global climate calls, ambitious commitments, and strategies on green energy and green economy by the world's leading countries have had and will continue having significant impacts on the energy sector. Azerbaijan has clear vision, goals, and objectives concerning green energy policy and endorse the calls and goals with regard to energy transition. We support green energy technologies, hydrogen-related activities, and efforts to strengthen the position of renewable energy in the energy mix. These areas are important components of the national priorities for the socio-economic development of our country. Within the framework of the Paris Agreement and at the recently concluded COP26 conference, Azerbaijan has once again declared its commitment to these goals. At the same time, our country has long been pursuing policies envisaging the transformation into a natural gas country, with all its mitigating implications. We believe that in the current energy crisis, sustainable energy supply is not possible without the diversification of energy sources, and the diversity of energy resources is, as always, a guarantee of stability in the energy market now and in the future. We are in the position where the maintenance of hydrocarbons in the energy mix is of vital importance to withstand the shocks that lead to energy crisis. The global gas industry is also affected by current trends, risks, and the competitive environment between conventional and renewable energy sources. However, due to its many advantages as a low-carbon energy source, natural gas plays an important role in the energy transition. The modern gas transportation infrastructure provides opportunities also for the transportation of hydrogen, which has entered the energy mix with high political support. Research by international energy institutes further shows that natural gas will have a significant share in the world energy market over the next 30 years. According to the forecast of OPEC, oil and gas will account for more than 50% of the total energy mix by 2045. In this regard, the equitable energy transition seems to be possible not by pushing away the traditional energy sources, but along with them. In this context, difficulties in meeting the demand for energy in Europe and Asia and the changing landscape of oil and coal caused by sharply increasing gas prices can be seen as a serious sign. Taking into account global trends in its energy policy, Azerbaijan has always pursued a consistent goal in both oil and gas projects to serve energy security, stability, cooperation, and development domestically, regionally, and globally. The huge Southern Gas Corridor, a clear manifestation of this goal, was commissioned on December 31st last year, marking a historic achievement for Azerbaijan, our neighbors, and Europe. This is an important element of Europe's energy security and the diversification of not only routes but also sources. A new source of natural gas based on Azerbaijan's large gas reserves is already on the European market. Throughout the first 10 months of this year, Azerbaijan exported more than 14 billion cubic meters of natural gas via this route, and about half of this volume was used by EU consumers. Projects initiated by Azerbaijan shape the energy map of the region and Europe. Our main goal is to ensure energy security and contribute to global development by achieving strong cooperation between producer, transit, and consumer countries in the process. In conclusion, I would like to take this opportunity to wish fruitful deliberations and success to the GECF ministerial meeting. Thank you for your attention.
Your Excellency Minister, thank you so much for your valuable statement and encouraging recommendations for the GECF. I am pleased to invite His Excellency Sri Mustafa Mohammed, the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department who's responsible for economy, representing Malaysia here, to take the floor. And I would like to invite to be prepared His Excellency Morten Anker, representing Norway, to take the floor next. Your Excellency Sri Mustafa Mohammed, the floor is yours.
His Excellency Franklin Molina Ortiz, Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energies of the plurinational state of Bolivia and President of the Ministerial Meeting, Dr. Yuri Santuin, GECF Secretary General, distinguished heads of delegations of GECF member and observer countries, on behalf of the Government of Malaysia, I would like to express our appreciation to His Excellency Franklin Molina Ortiz, Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energies of the plurinational state of Bolivia, for hosting this 23rd GECF ministerial meeting. When GECF gathered last year at the 22nd ministerial meeting, we were in the middle of our battle to manage the adverse impact of COVID-19 pandemic to the global economy and the energy sector. 1 year on, here we are today, still in our battle, but with better hopes and prospects for recovery, supported by widespread vaccination programs as we strive to reach herd immunity. As vaccination increases, economies are opening up and energy demand is rebounding. The recovery in demand coming at a time when there are still supply chain disruptions and difficulties in getting employees deployed fully has led to an energy crisis that the world had not expected at this time. This brings us to the issue of energy supply security and the role that natural gas plays in ensuring energy equity. We are concerned that this energy crisis is derailing some nations or slowing them as they set out to reduce emissions. Gas security is an important element that has long been ignored as the world focuses on sustainability. Without security of gas supply, the element of sustainability in the energy trilemma suffers as well. Ministers, distinguished delegates, in this regard, GECF should position itself as a strategic platform to promote discussion and dialogue among gas-producing countries, provide an avenue for research and exchange of views, as well as promote a stable and transparent energy market between producers and consumers and between governments and energy-related industries. In the longer term, the global energy sector continues to transition towards cleaner and sustainable sources of fuel, such as natural gas and renewable energy, as economies decarbonize towards a low-carbon future. In our journey towards energy transition, the role of natural gas in the energy mix would continue to remain critical in providing energy security to fuel economic growth. Honorable Ministers, distinguished delegates, speaking of sustainability, the issue of climate change comes into the picture in the recent UN COP26 conversations and dialogues on the role of the oil and gas industry in mitigating global warming and reducing CSG emissions took center stage, leading to renewed commitments made by ONG producers. Petronas, Malaysia's national oil and gas company, has declared net zero carbon emission aspirations by the year 2015. This indicates Petronas' commitment to ensure sustainable practices and reduction of carbon footprint are taken into consideration for future exploration, development, and production activities. Distinguished ministers, delegates, at the regional level, I'm pleased to inform that key ASEAN energy players, including Petronas from Malaysia, PTT from Thailand, Pertamina from Indonesia, met in October at the inaugural ASEAN Energy Sector Methane Roundtable 2021 to discuss opportunities to intensify collaboration on methane emissions management in the region by leveraging on collective capabilities, global best practices. With that said, more concerted efforts and collaboration are required to expand global advocacy on the significance of natural gas as a clean source of energy for key sectors of the economy, especially for power generation. Natural gas will continue to play a major role in the energy mix. In this regard, Malaysia is finalizing our natural gas roadmap study, which will be part of a bigger national energy policy. The natural gas roadmap will serve as a long-term integrated and comprehensive gas roadmap for Malaysia with the aim to achieve an efficient and competitive gas market. Honorable Chairman, distinguished ministers, distinguished delegates, on that note, I would like to once again thank and congratulate Bolivia for hosting this year's ministerial meeting and wish all of us a very fruitful engagement. Thank you.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for the informative statement. I am pleased to invite His Excellency Martin Anker, the Deputy Director General, who is responsible for oil and gas department, working for the Norwegian Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, and Norwegian representative to the GECF. Your Excellency, Martin Anker, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency Franklin Molina Ortiz, Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energies of the plurinational state of Bolivia and President of the Ministerial Meeting, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished heads of delegation. On behalf of the Minister of Petroleum and Energy of Norway, Mrs. Marte Mjøs Persen, I'm honored to represent Norway at this ministerial meeting. We have indeed experienced a very volatile gas market through the last couple of years, providing substantial challenges for both consumers and producers. Norway believes that market-based gas prices are a key component of flexible, efficient, and consumer-centered energy markets. Furthermore, we believe the best enabler for gas going forward are liquid, competitive energy markets with efficient pricing of greenhouse gas emissions. In such a market, all the positive aspects of gas as an affordable, available, and low-carbon energy source, and in the future as a source of clean hydrogen, will be honored to the long-term benefit of both producers and consumers. And we do believe that the GECF could also take on the role as a proponent and advocate for efficient energy markets with efficient pricing of emissions. We are of the clear view that it should be the role of the commercial companies to negotiate and agree on contractual terms. The role of governments should be to make sure that regulations give predictable and stable framework conditions for the market players. I would like to end my intervention here by thanking His Excellency Secretary General of the GECF, Mr. Yuri Centurion, for his very important and very valuable contribution in promoting the role of the GECF and also for his efforts in advocating the role of gas during the last few years. I look forward to a good and fruitful ministerial meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your substantial statement, Mr. Martin Anker. I don't see any other requests for the floor from the side of our esteemed ministers and heads of delegations. On this note, Your Excellency, the President of the Ministerial Meeting, I would like to invite our reporting team head to make an announcement about group photo. That is another item of our roadmap for today's gathering. Mr. Rani, the floor is yours.
Excellencies, we will now observe a photo moment. I would like to request to kindly switch on the cameras and hold your smile for 5 seconds to have a great quality photo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Excellencies, the first session to be ended by is ended by the photo group. We will join after 10 minutes break. Thank you.
impulsado por la energía y pujanza de su gente. Un país de culturas ancestrales y ecosistemas ricos y diversos. Un país que ha forjado su destino y transformado su lucha en un círculo virtuoso.
Ajá, sí te entiendo. No soy súper fuerte como Luisa.
Los burros otra vez se salieron.
Ya voy.